Armin Georgian, our International Affairs Editor. Armin, we heard there from Theresa May, her accusations in the House of Commons earlier, but what avenues are open to her and British authorities after the events that unfolded today?
Well, the UK has already got a lot out of its Western allies when it comes to the Salisbury attack. Back in March, more than 20 Western countries expelled Russian diplomats, and at the time Theresa May welcomed that as the largest collective expulsion of Russian intelligence officers in history. So there's already been a lot of solidarity with the UK, and the UK already several months ago assumed and acted as if the Russian state was indeed responsible for this act. So I'm not aware of any specific new measures. We should point out that the Foreign Secretary who came into office quite recently, Jeremy Hunt, when he gave his first speech in the job in late August, he called on the EU to take a tougher approach towards Russia, to tighten sanctions, but it seems unlikely that the EU is going to do that, given the well-known differences of opinion about how to approach Russia within the European Union. So it seems unlikely at this stage that the UK Prime Minister can sort of, as it were, squeeze much more out of her European or American allies.
And bearing all of that in mind, then, what are the chances, do you think, that the UK is ever going to bring these two suspects to justice?
Well, first of all, they can't be extradited because the Russian constitution forbids that. So the most that can be done at the moment is that the UK has issued an international arrest warrant. So if they set foot in any country where that arrest warrant applies, then they can be detained on behalf of the UK. But there is a precedent for this: the killing of Alexander Litvinenko in London more than a decade ago. The two men who were named as prime suspects in that case, Andrei Lugovoy, Dmitry Kovtun, they are living in Russia. They have made relatively successful careers. Lugovoy has had a career in Parliament, in the Duma, for example, and they have been free to travel inside Russia, but they can't really go out of it because of the risk of being arrested. But if you look at that precedent, it seems extremely unlikely that the UK could get hold of these two suspects that have been named today in the case of Salisbury.
OK, thank you, Armin, so much for joining us. That's our International Affairs Editor, Armin Georgian.